Hello and welcome to a special Magic the Gathering video. So you can probably tell if you've seen the previous video I did, the presence of this box would indicate that this is my second Lands Ahoy episode. So it's been a while. It may be even as long as 2 years ago now. It's certainly well over 1 year since I did the last one. And someone in the comments section recently very kindly requests I do another one, and so it makes sense to make this a one of two Yuletide videos. So I've already shot one Yuletide video, that's in the can, and that's going to go out around Boxing Day, and that's a sort of special version of Set Musings, which has picked an old set which is very appropriate to this time of year, shall we say. And you can probably guess what set that is, but I won't say it, and then you'll see when the video comes out. But I thought what I'd do is I'd also shoot a Land Ahoy video as it was requested, and this will go out around the 21st of December, seeing as it's a Yuletide video. So as you can see from the box, and if you watch the last video, because what I do is I use one of these, if you're familiar with the old style box that used to be the holiday gift box, and this is one of the well constructed ones. It's not one of the ones that easily collapse, which is always good when you've got to absolutely chock-a-block with land because it gets heavy. So in the previous video I got up to 10th edition, which was my, that was my onboarding for Magic. And it doesn't look like I've got many 10th edition cards in here. That's because I consider 10th edition to be so special. I actually have a separate box for that, but I went through some 10th edition land in that video, so I'm not going to go through that again. So I'm going to pick it up from Lorwyn, and I'm going to try and do the remainder of the box. Now it looks like there's a disparity here, but that's because I've obviously opened a lot more booster packs since 10th edition, and so therefore there's a lot more physical cards here, but about the same amount of sets. So in terms of what I did open up to 10th edition, there was around about 16 sets, and there's about the same number over this side of the box, but there's just, like this section here is a whole of, all the land I think I've opened as a result of opening Return to Ravnica boosters. So that's where we're going to go up to. We're going to go up to Return to Ravnica, and then of course after that there'll be the odd Land Ahoy video here and there, probably yearly, or maybe it might be quicker than that, but yeah, there's not going to be a follow-up one that soon. And then I'll go through a next batch of sets looking at land. And I know this was super popular the last time I did it, so this was fun to do because there's a little bit of, I like a good combination as I'm semi-prepared, but it's nice to just flick through the cards. So let me put that to one side, and we'll pull out the Lorwyn cards. So let's have a look here and look at some of the artwork. It looks like there's, just give me a feel for this. So I'm going to just set out, and with this you usually find that there's four, but there may even be, no, there we go, I think that's it. There's normally 4 pieces of artwork per set. And another cool thing to remember with this, let me just zoom in a little bit. Hopefully this is coming out good. In fact, let's do it like that. There we go. So, there we go. Yeah, if you've been, this is related in some ways to some of the stuff I've been doing with Set Musings. If those of you who have watched the Set Musings series will know that as part of that I do highlight up the land when we start to slice and dice the set. So when you look at sets in Magic, what you usually find is there is land printed for the main set, the large set, and then you get anything going forward, any theme decks just use that land artwork in them, and of course at that point in Magic's history, land wasn't there wasn't a land slot in boosters, so that means to say, land was coming in from different sources. Now, as a result of that, you'll notice when we go through this, there was a little bit of a change up, I suppose, with some of the sets. So for some of the sets, you'll find that there has been land printed for the smaller sets, or the second or the third set of the block, however you look at it, and that you're going to see when we get to, I think it's Scars of Mirrodin. You'll actually see here that there's a separate artwork for that, and there's various reasons why that's the case, to do with the theme of the set and various other stuff they did. So just so you know, that's what's going on here. That's why we've got 3 lots of artwork for the Scars block, and then in other instances there'll be like one piece of artwork for the same, all the way through the set, one set of artwork all the way through the block. So that's our planes for Lorwyn. Now, what I might be able to do, thinking about this, is let's carry on. So again, here's our islands. There we go, look at that. It's a nice set of islands there. What I'm trying to remember is I thought somewhere I had some artwork for... Oh, sorry. I'm not concentrating here. What I thought I had is for some artwork for... Was it Shadowmoor? But, for some reason I can't seem to locate it. And I may have kept it separate for some reason. There we go. There's the swamps. Now you can see, I don't know if you can see that. We've got some, if you look at that one, you can see some echoes of some of the artwork across a different manner. Let me come in from here, look at the mountain. So artwork wise, if you're familiar with Lorwyn and Shadowmoor, it was quite different artwork that was utilised. And you can sort of see that reflected in the land. Artwork's quite pastoral in ways. There we go. And that's the forests. It makes me wonder now whether or not they use the same artwork or not for Shadowmoor. Like I said, don't seem to have it in my box, so I don't know if there was where that ended up. Okay, so we're going to move on now to Shards of Alara. So obviously quite different artwork here for some of this. You'll probably find, because as well we're going to see several core set artwork in this particular video. When they were releasing, we're now up to where they've got sort of core sets every year, and as a consequence you might see a lot of artwork repeating itself. So those are the planes that I have in my collection from Shards of Alara. And we'll move on to the islands from that particular period. Lots of nice flicky sounds here. I think these are a little bit better sorted actually. There you go. Again, 4 pieces of artwork. Oh yeah, look. So if you remember, the one of the theme of the block is, this idea of a plane that's sort of, I suppose splitting apart and then converging back together again. And you can obviously see elements of that theme reflected in the artwork as we look through. First and fourth look similar, but they're not the same artwork. It is different. And then finally, our forests. It's funny, I'd completely forgotten, but that's why it's always nice going through. But I'd completely forgotten how cool the artwork is for Shards of Alara. I think the problem is with that is that although I got into Magic around 10th edition, at that point, that was just prior to me sort of starting the big sort of Nova Scotia venture, where I sort of, you know, the lead in for me, you know, over a couple of years of ending up out in Canada. And I think, as a, you know, for that period from about when Lorwyn had just dropped around that time, and I remember seeing the theme decks right round till, I suppose, Zendikar. I hadn't bought any Magic products, so I'd bought some 10th edition stuff, and then that was it. So sometimes I forget how cool the Shards of Alara lands are. So talking about that period in Magic, before Zendikar came out, we have M10. And again, it's interesting. It looks like I've opened quite a bit of M10, and I've got a sneaking suspicion that's because I think, didn't the first Deck Builders Toolkit come out around about that time period? I think it was, yeah, that around the time of the Zendikar block, and as a consequence, it would have included M10 land in there. And I've bought, I think, at least two of those, that period of Deck Builders Toolkit. I've actually got a third unopened one as well, which I'll get around to opening one day. I remember being quite excited when that toolkit came out, and that's actually one of those is one of my most watched videos, actually. So there we have the Plains artwork for M10, and you'll see what I'm sort of talking about now. You'll probably see in this like artwork you recognise from other sets, because often I'm not sure actually if they ever, I mean, I'm assuming they must commission some new artwork for core sets now, but often they will reprint some of the artwork that they've used before in other sets. And if you remember from M10 onwards with the core sets, 50% of the cards themselves, so I'm not talking about land here, I'm talking about the actual you know, non-land cards, if you like, non-basic land cards in the set. 50% of those cards were reprints and 50% were new cards. Oh yeah, this is definitely a reprint. In fact, I do recognise that from a it must be quite old, because I'm sure that's from a set musings that I've done back in the days of the like pre-modern borders. Okay, there's our swamps. So the other thing to remember at this point, I wasn't opening what now are called bundles. So that didn't start happening until M11, I don't think. I did have one for 10th edition. Oops. Missing a piece of artwork. Let me go back through that again. There we go. Missed one. That's better. just suddenly thought actually this would be a good opportunity to utilise the grid, but anyway, it's too late now. Make things a little bit straighter, but sometimes. Oops. It's always funny doing these sort of videos. Anybody that does this sort of filming, I know, like reaching around the camera to do this. Yeah, again, definitely recognise some of this from earlier sets, which is one of the nice things about looking at core set artwork for the basic lands. Makes you very nostalgic. Right. Okay, so the reason why I mentioned about me opening, not basically at this point, around about Zendikar, I wouldn't have opened any bulk amounts of land one way or the other. So I'm afraid my full artwork of that land from Zendikar is rather lacking. In fact, I'll just lay out all the artwork I have, and you can see in some instances it's going to be all the same. It's just the way, based on what boosters I opened, how that came out. So, well, this one I did well for. So I do actually have one each of the artworks for the islands. And with the swamp, yeah, I've just got 2 pieces of artwork for that. And the mountain, 2 of the same. And then the forest. I actually don't even know if at that point, like with later sets that had full artwork, if you remember, they were actually putting them in the fat packs, in the bundles. I don't even know if they did that with the original Zendikar, whether you could only get the full artwork in the boosters and what. So if anybody opened any sort of bulk lands at that point in Magic's history, do you want to comment and let me know what you got in, say, the bundle, the fat pack, that sort of, if you remember that bulk product you get where it had, probably at that point, what was it, 6 packs of 6 boosters, or it was either 6 or 8 boosters, and then would have had a land pack. So right. So for the Rise of the Eldrazi, the Rise of the Eldrazi actually had its own land. I've got some very curvy foil lands here. I need to really just put these under something. I basically, why did I end up with all this foil land? I think what I must have done is just bought one of each of the artworks, but I seem to have a lot of particular types here. I don't know how that's going to look on camera. Wow, those are like bananas. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, I might have to bring some of those in. Yeah. So similar story here with as with the full art Zendikar lands, is obviously the bulk of this stuff. The regular art, the non-full stuff, would have been as a result of me opening boosters. So I'm just going to quickly lay out what I've got, and then I'm going to attempt to use the foils, and because I know that it may look a bit weird on the camera. So here you can see here, again it's pretty hit and miss because I'm not opening a massive amount of like land packs or anything like that. There we go, there's just... So basically 2 or 3 of each land. There's actually a 4-1 that I pulled from fresh from a pack. It's funny, it's not as curved as the ones that I got. So that's what I pulled from packs, and what like I said, what I did was, for some reason, it must have been for some video I might have been working on where I wanted all foil lands. I do actually have foil. Oh dear, my brain is terrible. Rise of the Eldrazi, that's what I was trying to think of. Rise of the Eldrazi lands. So we'll make an attempt to, so at least you can see all the artwork. I do apologise if this is rather weird on the camera. Yep. Foils are a nice idea, but yeah, you have to keep them under a heavy weight. So the problem with this artwork, I find, it was a little bit samey. They definitely, you know, overdid. What were they called? Were they called hedrons? It's definitely the main feature, and sometimes it's actually quite difficult to tell the different types of artwork. I think that's it. They're actually not coming out too bad on the camera. They look really weird from my angle. But, camera angle looks quite good. Actually, well, let's stick with the right order here. Mountains next. And then forests. It's actually popping quite nicely on here. Yeah, again you can see that everyone a hedron. And I've got to put them back in the box. So just talk amongst yourselves while I straighten these up. I just don't want these all strewn across the desk because I know I'll be knocking them over. Right. So we're going to see quite a few core sets here. So on to M11. Okay. There's our planes from M11. I suppose one of the nice things is, you know, if you've got, you know, in terms of when they choose the artwork for this set, you know, they do have the pick of the crop in that they can pick from all over Magic's history. So you would expect that with core sets you would get a pretty good, you know, choice of artwork. And actually, so far I would definitely say that with M11 these are good picks for artwork, but we'll see. Oh, this is nice. Hope you can see that. Yeah, as you've seen before, one of the things that makes me a bit apprehensive about foil land is just the curving. And, you know, there's the ways of dealing with that, I do know, but even so, it's just an extra thing to deal with. Interesting artwork here. I'd have to say, probably, there's a foil one there. It's fairly well. I am really liking this artwork in this particular core set. There's certainly some classic looking stuff here. And I like the way they've sort of combined things. We saw that in the swamp, where definitely that swamp looked like that was an echo of a forest. Same with the mountains. You know, we've got like you can see there down the bottom, like echoes from other colours in the mana colour pie. See what they've done with forest. Oh yeah, these are, to me, yeah, these are brilliant. So M11. So far I'd say M11 is my favourite so far. And that's the nice thing about going through this. I've not seen this artwork for a long time. I mean, we'll get to see it again when we get up to the particular, you know, this set as part of the set musings series, because with that I will start doing set musings on what I call modern core sets. So, you know, anything after or M10 onwards, because they were a mixture of 50% reprints and 50% new cards, and as a consequence, thematically you get some interesting stuff going on in core sets which you didn't always used to see when they were 100% reprints. Okay, so I mentioned Scars of Mirrodin is a little bit unusual in that there was, or seems to be, artwork for each of the sets. So we'll see how that pans out and whether there's sort of duplicated artwork. Because again, it's been a while since I've looked at these. Oh yeah. So this is rather good because if you've been watching the... So I've got to be careful here, because I get ahead of myself. I just want to make sure I'm talking about something I have actually shot. One thing you'll notice is if you see the original Mirrodin artwork in the episode of in that episode that I did as part of the set musings, I'm actually looking to see if I can show you what I mean. Let me just go off at a bit of a tangent because I've got a box here. So what I'm talking about is, you get the original Mirrodin artwork, which we do have here, and would have been in the original. There's another one in my first land Ahoy. Is not surprisingly very metallic. There's a little bit of variety in this artwork. So there's our planes. In terms of it, what I mean is that that the artwork doesn't look totally metallic on everything. Although we'll see how it looks with the rest of the colours. So there's the blue thing. So pretty spiky. Actually, saying that, islands. Yep, actually, I'll take that back because there is a good degree of spikiness in the islands. If I just laid out. Yep. Pretty, oh yeah, it's pretty nasty looking land. I'm assuming when they do the artwork for this, they tie it in with the descriptions in the novels as well. Because looking at some of this, I think I read the novel for the original Mirrodin block. So I'm just trying to find the... Definitely, this looks as it is described in the novel. Actually had a foil here. Because, of course, what you're seeing here is you're seeing land that I had as a result of opening land packs from product, but also there would have been a land slot in the booster pack. So that's where the foil would have come from. Although here, it's interesting, we're looking a bit thin on the ground for the forest. Let me just try and find the fourth piece of artwork. Now it's quite possible I did raid this box for oh, there we go, there it is. Sometimes very difficult to spot when the artwork's super similar. So yeah, it's still pretty spiky in its look, apart from some of the planes there. Okay. How are we doing? Okay, 40 minutes in, right. So this is the artwork for Mirrodin Besieged. Interesting. Oh, it's badged up as Mirrodin Besieged. Wow. So just okay. I think I see what they did here. Let me just check that I'm right. So yeah, it looks like for Mirrodin Besieged, what they did was they just had 2 pieces of artwork that was produced specifically for that set. Rather than the usual 4 or 3 or whatever. And yeah, as you know, I mean, they've done that quite a bit with recent sets where they've cut back the amount of artwork, where they almost got to the point where, what was there, just 1 piece of artwork. Okay. Nothing quite like the sound of magic cards being shuffled around. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Okay, so yeah, 2 pieces, all spiky, all in that spiky style. So that's how they did that. But again, interesting to see they actually did that with the second set. The fact that there is, you know, different artwork. So of course, there'll be no surprise if you know the block to know that also there appears to be different artwork also for new Phyrexia. So let's see what they did here. Yeah, again, it looks like I've just got 2 pieces of artwork per colour. Oh, this one is interesting. So, seems to be a 3rd here. Oh, okay. Take that back. There's a 4th. Did I miss something here? Again, it is quite possible that I've raided this box for certain artwork for certain decks. Oops. No, that's the same. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, actually, no, that's why I made a mistake. I've got my... let me put that back where it belongs. So yeah, again, just 2 pieces of artwork. That makes more sense now. I actually had a piece of Mirrodin Besieged artwork muddled in there. So just so you're clear on that, let me do that. There we go. There's our mountain. There's our forest. Okay. If you hear me groaning, don't worry, it's nothing serious. I was just raking leaves yesterday. Right. Oh wow, this is, yeah. Looks like we're in the era of cool, cool set artwork. And they've really, so this one is similar to one we've seen already, and we're probably going to notice that you can sort of see, you know, where they may have borrowed the artwork from set wise. There you go, there's your swamps. Very nice. Okay, good. Mountains. Very nice. Finally, get on to our forests. Pretty gnarly looking stuff here. Very cool. Very nice indeed. Okay. So we're good. 4 more sets to go. So Innistrad. So with Innistrad, the artwork would have been both used in the first large set, in the Innistrad set, and then also for subsequently the set after that, the first small set of the block. But there would have been different artwork, and you'll see in a moment, for Avacyn, because that was treated as a separate set, so to speak. Now I think I'm going to have to double check this. I think we're through to a point in time where they may have just been doing 3 pieces of artwork, but I'm just going to check, because again, it's not unusual for this stuff to be so similar that it's difficult to discern some of the cards from being different artwork, but no. So yeah, looks like, yeah, three pieces of artwork. Again, I'll correct myself as I'm going through. I notice another, but I've got sufficient enough land here to see that it would show if there were 4 pieces of artwork here, and I'm pretty sure I've not gone through and like again used land in some build or something. And there we go, look at that. Isn't that nice? So there's your swamps. So knowing the theme to this particular block, it's no surprising that some of the artwork's going to be pretty sort of graveyardy in places and spooky maybe. Or sinister. Here, mountains. Oh, yeah. That's pretty classic. I like that one particularly. So, as I mentioned, same artwork would have been used for the small set in the block, but there was a large set in the block. I think they tend to think of it as a reboot, maybe, or just a different aspect of that particular storyline, and that's the Avacyn set, and we have artwork here. So let's see how many copies they have of the different artwork. I'm just moving around here. Yeah, Avacyn Restore. What was the full name of the set? And again, yeah, three pieces of artwork. But this is nice, actually. This is nice artwork. Again, I keep doing double takes as I'm shuffling through thinking, is there a 4th piece? But no, it's only 3 bits of art. I'm wondering whether I prefer this artwork. Hopefully this is coming across reasonably well on the camera. When I upload these, I try and make sure I upload it in the format that's directly on the camera, so which is MTS format. And so what I do is I splice all the chunks together on a command prompt and then upload that directly to YouTube. So there's no processing my end apart from YouTube end, so that way it does come out at 1080. So we're back to a core set now. And it could be, oh no, we do have some stuff possibly we've not seen before. Yep, definitely. So with the core set, we're also, we've got 4 pieces of artwork. Go. Pulled in from, various sets. You can see the themes. That one looks like it's a repeat of one we saw in the previous set, and you can start to see now we've had a chance to look at these, we're seeing duplication in the artwork across core sets. Oh, here's one I don't think we've seen before. I could be wrong. Some of these definitely we've seen in this video. Yeah, I think you recognise these probably. We've seen these, definitely some of these before in an earlier part of the video. So yeah, that's really cool artwork. Look at that. That's nice. Oh, our gnarly friend is back. Yeah. So yeah. What I was hoping to see, and maybe it's in a different core set, is there's what I call a very photo-real land, forest actually, more correctly, which is often printed in core sets. I've not seen that yet. So we're on to our last one here. Just to show you, there you go. Just shows you how much Return to Ravnica stuff I must have opened, or should I say sets which had Return to Ravnica artwork in them. And I suspect, I could be wrong here again, I suspect this artwork featured in all of the sets from that block, so yeah, it's a rather large pile. So it'll be good to see. This might take a little while to do this. So here. So with the Return to Ravnica artwork, yeah, there's actually 4 pieces of artwork here, and it's a cityscape artwork, I suppose, for want of a better word. So I was just going to see if I could pull out. So there's an example of the artwork from original Ravnica. Okay, just to give you a sort of point of reference. So there we go. So yeah, 4 pieces of artwork, and used seemingly across all of their sets in that block. That was my iPad just dinging to remind me I've got to do something. So probably rather appropriate that we've got it on the, we're getting towards the end of this video. Oh yeah. Very, very sinister halls there. Now I always found that the mountain artwork for this set particularly interesting. So let's have a look at that. Again, you know, we're seeing, how would you put it here? Like, you know, mountain themed cities or city themed mountains. There's a foil version of one of the pieces of artwork, and you can see again this. You can see it really makes the. Can you see that marbling really pop? She looks like the cities are on fire. And then we have the mountain. That's good. Look at that. Now that's interesting. Did I make a mistake here? We seem to have 5. Was there 5 pieces of artwork? That was rather a mistake on my part, if there was. Just let you enjoy the forest while I just recheck this. Certainly caught me out there if it did. Shows you never, you know, always expect the unexpected. Did they do something really unusual here? I wonder. So I seem to have more of certain colours. So I'm just going to go back through this because this caught me out. If there is 5 pieces of artwork in here. (271, 270). So yeah, I'm probably better off looking at the set numbers at this point in Magic. So yeah, just to clarify, sorry about this. There's actually 5 pieces of artwork in this set. So let's see if I can get this right. We'll just go back through. So we've got 274. Yeah, let's do it around here. Sorry about this. So what's that? It's 266. That means there must be one that I missed somewhere. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Now it's making sense. So yeah. Well, there you go. I completely forgot. Return to Ravnica had actually 5 pieces of artwork in it, not 4. So let's go back through. See, this is what makes these videos so fascinating for me, is you just completely forget about. And the other thing is, you probably can't see this on camera. Can you see that? Look, there's quite a big difference in the colour of those 2 cards. They're both the same pieces of artwork, both from the same set, but the ink, that's more of a sort of grey. That's got an element of brown in it. And that's the first set I really noticed that on. And I know there's been lots of sort of complaints about sort of card quality more recently, but yeah, when you have a lot of a particular card at your disposal, you really do start to notice differences in the print, the print runs of the same card. Oops. Cover that one up. That's the same piece there. There we have it. I think I've got that right. Oh. Making a bit of a mess here. Where's my... Where are you? 5th piece of swamp artwork, eh? Okay. This is odd. So there we go. I was going to say. Here you have it. So there's the 5 there for the swamps. And then, well, we get a bit of extra footage, don't we? Get to go over the hour because of this oversight on my part. Okay. Go. Boom. No, I see I've done it again. No, it's not that. It's that one. There we go, look. That's better. Wow. It's funny, my land box. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be shooting another video, so I'm not too concerned now, but this part of my land box is getting super jumbled up. Right. Yep. Okay. So there we have the planes. So yeah, completely forgotten. Return to Ravnica had 5 pieces of artwork for the block, and all badged up as Return to Ravnica with the set icon on there. Okay. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. That was interesting to make. I've now made my way successfully through the whole of that box now. So the next, when I get around to doing it, which will probably be a year from now, because these Land Ahoy videos don't come out super regularly, as a sort of special thing, I suppose. Yeah, I'm going to be pulling from later sets after Return to Ravnica, and I think at that point I started keeping my land in the box, you know, that comes with the bundle. So that's going to be fun to try and do. I don't really want to unpack it all, so I'll probably be like, have a big stack in front of me off camera and just, yeah, be opening them and pulling out various lands and talking about them when I get round to that next video. Yeah, next year or whenever it is. So there we have it. Thanks once again for watching. You know, have a great 2022. I tell you what, with all that's been going on, I've got so muddled up between 2020, 2021 and 2022 because everything's just sort of blurred into one to some degree. And yeah, onwards and upwards. So yes, thank you very much and bye for now.